Mortal Kombat X, Machinima's Chasing the Cup debuts today on CW Seed. Check out the first 3 episodes now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Weekly Weird News.
College is expensive. I'll be paying off my student loans till I'm dead.
Yeah.
Ricky, on the other hand, dropped out of community college to join the circus. He owes no student loan money.
Yeah.
And here we are standing in front of the same camera, so I guess you could say college is also completely pointless as well.
Lots of credit card debt, though, accumulated in years of trying to make it in LA that I'll probably never pay off.
I got that too.
Yeah.
But I digress, because college is so damn expensive that some people look to less traditional means so that they can afford it.
And sure, people have been selling weed to get through college for years. Whatever, anyone can do that. The type of alternative funding we're here to talk about today has a few more prerequisites than that. Specifically, you need to be attractive and you need to be willing to fuck rich dudes for money.
Sure. And no, we're not talking about prostitution. Not at all. We're talking about sugar daddy arrangements, which is a totally different thing. I don't even know why you would think they were the same. Basically, if you're young, attractive, and okay with letting a wealthy, middle-aged man stick his penis inside of you on a regular basis, you can get that wealthy old ball sack to help pay your way through college.
This goes for guys and girls too, I'm assuming. It's mostly for girls, I would assume. But yes, there's probably a few gay sugar daddies out there. So buckle up.
Oh yeah.
Buckaroo. The idea of sugar daddies, it's not anything that's new or breaking new ground. Rich dudes have been trading financial security for young vaginas and buttholes for thousands of years. But now in the internet age, where online dating is quickly becoming the norm, sugar daddy arrangements have evolved with the times, and several websites have popped up to capitalize on this, with seekingarrangement.com leading the pack.
For a decade now, they've been promoting what they call mutually beneficial relationships, where wealthy men and women can meet attractive young people with expensive tastes, without all that usual dating bullshit. They claim to have 5 million members and a 4-to-1 female to male ratio. They don't outright say that these arrangements are sex for money, because that would be illegal, but it's heavily implied.
I see where we're going with this. So there's cougars out there that want young guys to have sex with too.
Yes, although
cougars.
None of the marketing materials for this website feature that arrangement being advertised at all.
Well, they should change it. There's plenty of young guys out there that would probably sign up for this and just be like, wow, I would love an older woman to pay my way. Anyways, for a while now, they've encouraged students to sign up by offering free premium memberships to any sugar baby who signs up with a .edu email address. And they recently released a whole stack of press materials highlighting their role in getting young, okay, I see what you're talking about now. The press materials that highlight their role in getting young women through college, which they proudly call, Sugar Baby University. Is the fonts really cute? Are the fonts cute and like pink and bubbly?
It's like a sorority like pledge.
Wow, this is
flyer. So they say that there's currently 1.134 million college student sugar babies in the US signed up on their website who receive an average monthly allowance of $3,000. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It gets spent on tuition, rent, textbooks, transportation, clothes, and so on. Most intriguing, though, is their list of the fastest growing sugar baby schools of 2016, which ranks colleges and universities by how many new signups Seeking Arrangement got in 2015.
While you were doing that, I was kind of doing the math on my head. Basically, if they have sex every day, it's like, what is it? Is it like $30 a day?
Yeah.
It's not so bad. The top 5 in this list are NYU with 225, Arizona State with 189, UT Austin with 163, Temple with 155, and Kent State with 153. Now both Florida and Texas each have 3 schools in the top 20 list.
Damn.
These numbers don't really seem that high, I guess, and they aren't. Number 1 school, NYU's 225 new signups is basically insignificant at a school of over 57,000 students. We'd love to see an actual comprehensive list of how many total accounts all these schools have, but this is all we have for now.
Probably something about not wanting to blow up their client's space. Seeking Arrangement CEO Brandon Wade, while proud of his growth numbers, is clearly looking to get even more young co-eds to sign up though. Not because it's keeping him rich, but because he cares.
Aw.
In his press release, he said this, and we're gonna read it in Bernie Sanders' voice and pretend that Bernie Sanders is actually the CEO because it's way funnier that way.
We are in a state of emergency, but this isn't due to terrorism. The $1.2 trillion college debt crisis is crippling our economy, and no one is doing anything about it. Instead of earning a living and making milestone purchases post-graduation, many are stuck sending their paychecks straight to Sally Mae.
Some see this as a controversial solution. However, seekingarrangement.com has helped facilitate hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of arrangements that have helped students graduate debt-free. That's more than anyone could say of any particular president or Congress.
So there you go. Higher education in this country remains totally fucked, no pun intended. But there is hope out there, as long as you're really hot and have questionable morals. Now the rest of us will just have to keep trucking on in the meantime.
Like literally going to truck stops and
giving out tug jobs. They call them lot lizards.
Lot lizards?
Yeah, I learned that when I was in college for that brief period of time. I actually was going to school to be a cop, and the teacher, who was a retired police officer, referred to truck stop prostitutes as lot lizards. So there you go.
Just imagine how different your life would be.
I know, right? I was straight edge back then, so I like really wanted to bust some drug users. And then I went on to do every drug.
Yeah. Because everyone knows cops just walk around to like
busting
public
skulls.
places. Get that cigarette out of your mouth.
Yeah, I would have been a total asshole.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of education, rapper B.o.B could seriously use some.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, we told you about how he apparently believes that the Earth is flat, that the actual spherical Earth that scientists have been telling us about for centuries is a bunch of BS.
Yeah. He let his views be known the way that all intelligent people share their thoughts, on Twitter, which you'll also see in our other video that we're putting up tonight. And of course, whenever any bit of scientific misinformation is being spouted on Twitter, physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson can hear that shit from 1,000 miles away and shouts, well, actually, loud enough that it propels him towards the source of misinformation.
Well, actually! Yeah, he usually just spends his time nitpicking Hollywood movies, many of whom don't deserve to be scrutinized like
Nor
that.
did they ask for it.
But he showed up for this game of T-ball, all juiced up on Big League Chew. He responded to B.o.B with tweets explaining the curvature of the Earth with terminology that B.o.B couldn't possibly make sense of. And then he closed out with, flat Earth is a problem only when people in charge think that way. No law stops you from regressively basking in it. Damn. And, dude, to be clear, being 5 centuries regressed in your reasoning doesn't mean we all can't still like your music. You don't listen to B.o.B.
You are the only person I've ever met in my entire life that hasn't heard
who it was.
The Airplane song or the Bruno Mars song.
I woke up on Monday, I was like, who's this Bob guy? But whatever.
Anyways, B.o.B responded to this science nonsense the only way he knew how, with a diss track directed at Neil deGrasse Tyson, something we can all agree was a long time coming. The song was called Flatline, and it's since been taken down out of shame, but it featured lyrics like, hey, Neil Tyson need to loosen up his vest.
He also asks, why is NASA part of the Department of Defense? It's not. He calls science a cult. He also says to do your research on David Irving. That's a Holocaust denier that B.o.B apparently is a fan of.
Woo!
It's a mess.
Yeah.
So no need to respond, Neil. You won this round. Just go home.
Oh my God. Neil deGrasse Tyson's nephew, Steven Tyson, made a response track of all things.
No.
Oh, here we go. Yes, apparently Neil deGrasse Tyson has a nephew who makes educational science raps. So an educational science diss track isn't that odd for this guy. His track is called Flat to Fact, and it's basically Drake's Meek Mill diss track back to back with newer, smarter lyrics.
It has edgy, profane lyrics like, I think it's very clear that Bobby didn't read enough, and he's believing all this conspiracy theory stuff. And, I ain't waiting 4 days, B.o.B. I'm right here. I got science in my corner and there's nothing to fear. I'm not sure what it was that made you think that you could disrespect a Tyson and your ship won't sink. And of course the chorus, Bobby Ray's thinking that flat is fact.
The whole time, Elliot was just saying that he looks like Urkel from Family Matters when
he doesn't actually. He looks like.
But his voice in the rap sounds like.
Before I even heard it, I was like,
this guy's a dork.
Like, here's what it's gonna sound like. Well, actually, the Earth is not real flat. It's round, B.o.B, and that's a fact.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what
Did
it was.
I do that?
Yeah. Now, B.o.B has since gone silent on Twitter, aside from like tweeting about us being douchebags. He doesn't want to push the matter any further and risk getting killed by a drive-by by the staff of the Hayden Planetarium. But his views clearly haven't changed despite how informative Steven Tyson's science diss track was. So, oh well.
You telling me that we can't solve all the world's problems through
With diss
rap?
tracks? I mean, it's looking that way.
Like, over the summer, we thought the Meek Mill Drake thing was like, wow, this is crazy. We've reached this point where diss tracks have gotten this petty when, like, in the 90s, people were actually getting killed.
Yeah.
But we've really, like, this makes the Drake Meek Mill thing look like war.
Yeah. Anyways, we've got one more quick story before we get into this week's best headlines. A story out of Norway, where people are apparently a lot more insane and badass than we had previously thought. Because when one 25-year-old Norwegian man awoke to find his car being stolen, he didn't let the fact that it was minus 17 degrees Celsius outside stop him from running outside only in his underwear and jumping onto his car as the thief drove away.
So with the car moving at over 50 miles an hour, the dude not
But how many kilometers, Elliot?
It was, I can't
65, 70?
It's fast. The guy not only held on for over a mile, or 1.6 kilos, but managed to break the rear window with his knee, climb into the moving car over a bunch of broken glass, and threatened to beat the shit out of the thief unless he stopped. When the thief did eventually pull over, he tried to run away, but almost naked Norwegian Rambo chased him down on foot and caught him, holding him until police arrived.
Must be some car for a guy to go to such lengths to save it, right? No, it's just an old Volkswagen Passat that's valued at about $492 US. But it's not about the car, or whether getting frostbite in your toes and gashes in your knees is worth it. It's about the principle. And if anything, we've definitely learned not to fuck with Norwegians. Also, there was the same thing where these Australian guys with no shirts on went and chased down some robbers, and he, according to the video, got one clock right in their face after ruining his pluggers.
Yeah, were those guys what you would call Bogans?
I don't know.
Is that the proper term?
I have no idea what that means.
They were very Australian.
Yeah, they were super Australian.
Bogans like the Australian version of a chav. I might be completely wrong.
Oh, they seemed like really nice guys.
They did.
Yeah, they work at a lawnmower
I didn't understand a word they
place.
said.
Well, you just gotta decode it. It's like it's almost a different language because they have different slang. Like pluggers or whatever that was. It means sandals. Yeah, flip-flops.
Anyway, this week there was a lot of really dumb and hilarious headlines from real news outlets, and we're gonna read them to you right now, starting with trailer with $70,000 worth of cheese stolen in Wisconsin.
This is the only state that it could happen in. It is the cheese state.
Isn't there a blizzard going on around there?
No, that was the East Coast. That was Nick Jonas, the storm or whatever.
I'm assuming it's very cold still. I don't know if this was in Manitowoc County or not, but I hope it was.
The cops are in on it.
Stephen Avery stole a truck full of cheese.
Yeah, he did it. They plant a giant block of cheddar in his jail cell. That's so dumb. This is my favorite from this week. Vulture arrested in Lebanon on suspicion of spying.
So I looked into this, and this is something that has happened repeatedly.
Yeah.
And here's why. So in Israel, they have a lot of, they take wildlife conservation very seriously. So there's a species of vulture that is pretty endangered. They've tried to catch everyone that they can and tag them electronically with the stuff so they can track their migration, and they do this with a lot of different animals.
Yeah.
Every single time one of these fucking vultures flies into like one of the neighboring countries.
You sound like an old angry Israeli.
Happened several times.
Yeah.
There's a whole Wikipedia article devoted to Israeli animals being caught outside of Israel and assumed to be spies. So every time one of these fucking vultures lands in Lebanon or wherever else, and some idiot villager finds it, he sees Hebrew letters written on the toe with like a little beeping device on it or whatever. They think that Israel is training vultures to spy on them. They're not.
You sound like Bernie Sanders again right now.
They're not training vultures to spy.
This is a preview of Bernie Sanders' foreign policy. That we have a serious problem with Lebanon thinking that Israel is sending these spy birds. It is not happening.
But it's like, if Israel wanted to spy, they could do it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do it with vultures.
No.
Wait.
Vultures land on the ground and eat.
The perfect plan, though. They just wanted to go there for some delicious Lebanese food. It is good.
It is good.
I'd go there for that.
Samurai sword-wielding Mormon Bishop comes to aid of woman being attacked.
A Mormon? I feel like you shouldn't have access to a samurai sword because they're just so bland.
Well, he's actually, this ain't your daddy's Mormon Bishop. This guy is a black belt in, I don't know which kind of martial arts. He knows how to use that sword. Said he never pulled it on someone before in his life. He didn't swing it.
Well, at least he's a responsible sword owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently the guy, when he saw it, was just like, nope. Getting out of here.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, if I saw a Mormon coming at me, I'd run. Those guys on their bikes, they bother you all the time. They're always knocking on the door.
They're nice. I always tell them.
They are very nice.
They come to my door, I'm like, look, man, let's not waste each other's time. You seem like a nice kid. I know you're gonna offer me one of those Jesus postcards. I'll take one.
Yeah.
But then get the hell out of here.
Oh, my girlfriend does the same thing because she used to have she used to give out flyers at like conventions. Like that was her job, to give out flyers. So anytime there's someone giving out a flyer, she goes up and like has a conversation. Like, yeah, no, I'm really interested in what you're, and she's like, and then she'll throw it out when she's out of like eye shot. She's like, I'm just being nice. Like I know they're just doing their, it's like if you ever worked in a restaurant and you treat waiters with respect, except way more lame.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Man who feared mass shootings brings gun to movie theater. Accidentally shoots woman. Because that's what fucking happens.
This guy was drunk and on Xanax. And the gun wasn't holstered, it was tucked into his sweatpants.
It's like that cop that was in the classroom teaching about gun safety and then shoots himself in the leg when he's trying to holster it.
No, this is worse.
Mistakes happen. And when mistakes happen with guns like this, it's real serious.
Yeah. I mean, the woman got shot in the back. I think she's okay, but like, come on.
Yeah, seriously.
And the guy he ghosted out of the theater. He tried to like get away with it, but he was so fucked up. He threw the clip in the trash can at the theater. Then he got home and he like threw the gun just on his front yard. And his father, I guess, was like, what the hell's going on? He told him, his dad's like, police? My son shot someone at the movie theater.
Whoops.
So good for that dad.
Wasn't it during the Benghazi movie too?
Yeah, it was during 13 hours.
Jesus Christ.
After her owner let her out to pee, this dog accidentally ran a half marathon and came in 7th.
How did it start at the starting line?
I don't think it started at the starting line.
Well, then it's disqualified.
Well, the dog did apparently take several breaks to like lick roadkill and like wander around and shit. Still won. So how does that make you feel for spending 6 months training for your half marathon and get beat by a dog?
I would immediately be like, it did not start at the starting line and it didn't register with the number because it costs money to run in marathons.
They did give the dog a medal, so I mean, you have a point. Like, I would be pissed if I came in right after the dog. I'd be like, no, that's my fucking 7th place medal. You're giving it to the dog?
Could you imagine going
Fuck
into someone's house and seeing a medal for 7th hanging up? It's embarrassing. Give it to the dog. Yeah. I'm siding with the dog now. Owner apologizes for bringing roadkill into Chinese restaurant. Is that just old-fashioned racism?
It is the most racist story, but like the local news talked to this guy, and he's just like, I mean, I didn't know I couldn't do that. So he didn't serve the deer to customers, but he did pick up a deer from the side of the road, which is illegal where that is. It shouldn't be. You should be legal to eat roadkill.
Oh, if it's fresh, you can still harvest it.
So he brought it to the Chinese restaurant.
You rip its asshole out?
He slaughtered it in the back. Not inside the restaurant, in like the back parking lot.
Oh, okay.
But like a bunch of people saw this happening and they were like, what are you doing?
and they tried to go give it to them?
No, he didn't try to serve it. It was for personal consumption.
That's fine.
The local news was like, did you learn anything here? He's like, yeah, I won't bring roadkill to the restaurant to slaughter it.
True story. True story. I worked at a Chinese restaurant for a very long time delivering Chinese food. It was a wonderful job for a young person to have. You drive around, listen to music all the time. Anyways, during this one really bad rain season in Florida, it flooded everywhere, including going almost up to the door of the Chinese restaurant that I worked at. Listen, none of this got served or even came inside the restaurant. But all of the Chinese cooks went outside with nets that they brought from home, and they started getting catfish out of the water surrounding the entire building. They were out there for a long time, and they brought like rain boots and stuff, and they came back with like 4 giant buckets of catfish. They didn't serve it, they didn't bring it in the restaurant, but they brought it home, and I'm sure they had just a feast.
You know, I think that's great, because these people came from places where you had to be resourceful like that. You were responsible for getting your own damn meal. You couldn't just depend on the McDonald's to feed you. You had to go get your own fish and gut it and serve it to your family so they wouldn't starve.
I'm beginning to think you're being more and more proud of being a curmudgeon like old man. You didn't get to walk down to the old McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good for them. Good for them.
Anyways, we got another Chinese restaurant story.
Yeah, this one's from actual China. Yeah. Chinese restaurants shut down after seasoning food with opium to hook customers. This is a trend in China where they just sprinkle a little opium on there.
Yeah.
Keep the customers coming back.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Recently there was some cough syrup in California that got recalled for the same thing.
It was supposed to be like some herbal
Yeah, and it actually just had heroin in it.
Morphine.
A morphine.
Which is a
And then everyone was trying to buy it before it was taken off the shelf.
Yeah.
Which, just get your hands on some fucking morphine.
Sounds great.
It's worth its weight in gold, people. Flock of sheep and high-speed New Zealand police chase, as they do. Just blocking the road.
It's the first New
Give
Zealand...
that sheep a medal.
Yeah, and hey, we're not even gonna make a sheep shagger joke.
Yeah.
That's played out.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen there either. It happens in Wales.
No, they say it about New Zealand too.
No.
Anyway, yeah, so like, that's very New Zealand. There's more sheep in New Zealand than people, and apparently, yeah, if you're trying to get away on the highway in a high-speed chase, there's a good chance you're gonna run into a couple hundred sheep trying to cross the road.
Also, where are you gonna go? You're on an island. Woman accused of beating husband with nunchucks because he refused sex.
And if this is giving you a little boner, it's never who you want it to be. Look at this lady.
That's not a sexy beating.
Yeah. Female on male abuse is real.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. But this headline made us laugh a little bit. It's funny.
Silly. Just because it's nunchucks. If it was any other weapon.
She's been arrested. Darth Vader onesies recalled due to choking hazard.
That's just a cute headline.
Yeah, except
but
they
a
were
serious
like
topic.
Baby onesies.
Yeah.
Darth Vader onesies were choking kids to death.
Very serious. Take a weed break at work. It's allowed.
This is just it's like some local news thing about an office in Denver that allows weed smoking at work. But the headline is just so ridiculous. Like that's just, it's a new form of clickbait where
anyone that respects the business that they work in the job that they do, unless you're like selling weed, I guess, would probably not do this, even though it is.
I don't know. It's like
legal.
The CEO of this company. I don't know. I just think it's funny that you're browsing your local news website and then one of the headlines.
Do it.
Go ahead, do it.
Go nuts.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's allowed.
Yeah. The fucking paper told me to. Blame it on the paper.
Okay, buddy. You're going in the crazy hole.
Yeah.
Artist to sit naked on a toilet for 2 days to protest bullshit art world.
And in the meantime, creating a piece of living art himself.
It's a woman. And she don't look half bad.
And Grandpa Elliot strikes again.
You know, sometimes it is the ones you want them to be.
Anyways, this is probably an art piece now, and she's probably making a lot of money.
She's making fun of that Maria the
one that laid in the thing for like...
No, she just sat at a table, was like, the artist is president, and then Jay-Z had his own version of that for a music video. So she's doing the same thing, it's just 2 toilets, she's sitting naked on the toilet for 2 days, and you can just sit across from her and stare at her.
Like Shia LaBeouf, but naked in a woman?
Shia LaBeouf copied the Maria Abrahamovic, I can never remember her name, but... Art world is stupid.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Anyways, everything's stupid, and so is this episode, because the world is stupid. Go subscribe to our channel. I mean, you're here. Just click the button over there. Wherever it is. And then watch our other content over here. See you guys next time.
Bye.